Hello, welcome to the Fanatics of Film, and my name is Ben, and I've got a good cohort with me.
Sat down. Ennio Morricone was a few rows behind us, 93 years old, still fit and vibrant, and, just The reason I mention him is his music in the first 15 minutes of the actual cut of the film, the way it should be. This version that we're about to see today was mesmerizing. It was absolute. I turned to Bob. I went, "Oh my God, this is what the movie was meant to be."
Thanks so much for joining us. I just had to really quickly do a quick review on this film because I just recently saw it for the first time. I can't believe I hadn't seen this before. I'm a huge fan of James Woods and Robert De Niro, and I follow James Woods on Twitter, but I had not seen this film before, and this film was on his banner here, and I can't believe I missed this. Just growing up loving James Woods and loving all the stuff that he was in. Countless great films that he's done before, and it was great to see him and Robert De Niro kind of bring this film to life, and it slowly takes you in. It kind of pulls you in slowly. There's a lot of stuff where you think, okay, this is kind of okay, so it's going to be a flashback here, but the point is that it really pulls you in, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, for the longest time in the United States, you could only get the truncated 2-hour version of this 3.5-hour masterpiece. And finally, in the early 2000s, it came out on DVD in its full-length version, which is the version Sergio Leone, the writer-director, wanted us to see. And when I finally saw it, I could just completely appreciate this film. In case you're not too familiar with Sergio Leone, he's only done a handful of films, but they've all been highly influential. The Colossus of Rhodes, Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, Duck You Sucker, aka Once Upon a Time the Revolution, aka Fistful of Dynamite, and then finally Once Upon a Time in America, a nice gem from 1984 with a stellar cast. But this film traces the story of two lifelong friends from childhood to adulthood in New York during the Prohibition, in the Jewish Mafia. It has some very disturbing moments in this film. It has some very hallucinatory moments in this film. It has a very ambiguous ending. If you have Netflix and you've never seen this film, if you like mafia movies, if you like Sergio Leone films, if you like Robert De Niro and James Woods, what a cast. You've also got Joe Pesci, Treat Williams, Elizabeth McGovern, Burt Young, young Jennifer Connelly. But I honestly, I'd recommend this film. It's a 4-star film.
Yeah.
And it's really engrossing. It's like Ben says, it's a bit of a slow burner. It just kind of takes you in. It takes its time. But once you're into it and you're invested, it takes you in areas that you would not expect. It is absolutely not predictable.
It's a huge, epic, beautiful story, and I remember when I first was watching this, and like I said, I can't believe I hadn't seen this movie before. What a masterpiece! An actual, complete, and total masterpiece. I remember it when you first see it, you see Robert De Niro's character. Of course, he's your main character at first, and you see him, you see immediately one of the biggest things that jump out to me now that I remember is how they were able to jump back and forth in such a surprising way when they jump back and forth from the timelines. More particularly, the use of locations. That's what I was really the use of locations, and when you revisit these locations, how they transport you back there, and that's what they used a lot of in here. But they did it in such a surprising way. It was such a refreshing, beautiful, surprising way.
The sad thing is, this is an epic mobster film, crime drama that you don't see referenced a lot. There's a lot of references to The Godfather or Casino, Goodfellas, Carlito's Way, which were all fantastic films. But because this film did not do well in its original release, because it was truncated from 3.5 hours down to 2 hours, So much of the story was
missing.
Was missing.
Yeah, I would have hate to have seen that version.
It really didn't catch its audience. There were always people that appreciated it because of the cinematography, because of the cast, because of the iconic locations, because of the stunt work, the violence, some of the disturbing nature of the story. And then once that 3.5 hour cut came out, it was reevaluated, and it's still, in my opinion, an overlooked gem. And then again, you don't get many references to this thing. I mean, James Woods is a voice on Family Guy, and I don't think he's made any references to this film. While they've made references to other movies he's done,
Right.
So. Or I don't know if he's still on Family Guy, but he was for a while. They got James Woods High School named after him.
That's right.
So I'm recommending that if you love good cinema, if you love crime drama, if you love De Niro and James Woods, any of these factors, I would definitely check out Once Upon a Time in America.
Hey, Noodles, you want to go for a swim? I'm just curious, if you're watching this, Mr. Woods, I would love to know if you guys really took that swim. Did you guys really? It looked like the way that scene was shot. It looked like they really did it. It may have been stuntmen, but I would love to know if you would answer me that one question. I'd really love to know if they actually jumped in the because Robert De Niro's character Noodles just literally says nothing. We're just gonna go for a swim. And he takes him right into the water. So it was actually a really funny moment. My favorite scene of this movie, we're not going to go on too long about it, but my favorite scene of this film was, and most memorable, was probably that scene when they're kids still, and they are having to deal with Bugsy, running from Bugsy, and then having to defend themselves, and then I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody watching, but really, really great scene in the streets there. But it's a turning point in Noodles' life because he has to go away for a while. So anyway, what was your favorite scene, Joe?
Well, I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's
one of them.
Because it disturbed me so much, there's a scene in the film where one character does to another character something you wouldn't expect, or maybe you would expect, but not to the intense level that it goes to. I think you know what I'm talking about. And it's after the robbery, and it's like, or during the robbery, and it's like, whoa, that's this movie definitely takes some very wrong turns, but not so in a repulsing way. It's just they definitely don't BS around the morals of these characters.
Yeah. What I did think, James Woods' character Max does have this desire to take down the Federal Reserve. Do you remember this? This is part of the story. So anyway, it's an epic masterpiece. Really, really amazing. We hope you check it out. We hope you check it out. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah. What an amazing cast. What an amazing cast. I like Treat Williams too as the Jimmy Hoffa Teamster. I met Treat Williams once here when they were filming Everwood, and he wrote a check. I didn't recognize him, and I had to take his driver's license, and I'm like, oh, never mind, you're Treat Williams. And I started naming off all these movies I love, and this is one that I loved him in. This is one that I pointed out, and he's like, oh, bit of a movie buff, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit of a film student. And I'll never forget, he goes, well, if you want to see a really good movie, watch Hair.
That's right. I hadn't realized that. He's got a great voice. He's a great singer, too.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I loved Hair. I didn't even recognize him. I didn't even recognize him
in this movie that I've ever met, and so that was kind of cool for me.
That is that's amazing. He's one of my idols. I loved him growing up and seeing that movie Hair when I was a kid.
Hair, Dead Heat, what was it, Steven Spielberg's 1941, I loved him in 10 Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, The Phantom. I like Treat Williams a lot.
Yeah, he's great. You know who else I really enjoyed thoroughly in this was William Forsythe. Yeah, he was great. Anyway, if you have not seen this movie, we recommend you check it out. It's an epic masterpiece. They sure don't make them like they used to. What a great film! I love this movie.
You know what? You say that, but then a film comes along like The Gold Man and the Gun, and it's like, wait a minute. Some people still do make them like they used to.
One of my favorite things about this film was how much it emphasized on the friendship. There's also the scene where they both fall in the water. They have their little invention that they have. They can pull up the drugs or whatever they're trying to smuggle through. They're trying to smuggle some food or something, and they have this invention to have something where the salt dissolves and then all the stuff comes up from the bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm talking about? And then one of the kids, they both fall in, and then Max hides, and Noodles thinks Max is dead or something, and so
Yeah, that's
it's a
the
great
thing
moment.
too. You say it's about friendship, but it's also about the disintegration of friendship.
It is.
You know, because if you're in that kind of lifestyle, I mean, you see it in Goodfellas, you see it in Casino, you see it in The Godfather. You really don't have friends, you know. Which is sad, because these, when they're growing up, they're the best of friends. They absolutely trust one another, but circumstances in that line of work lead you to things. But still, highly recommended film.